Hello. I've got a poem for you today, and it's from the 1500s, the late 1500s. And in a way, it's from further behind time, beyond in time than that. It's from the Sidney Psalter, the Psalms of Sir Philip and Mary Sidney. So how rare is that to be able to read the preserved writing of a lady from the 1500s? And it's a retelling of the Psalms from the Bible, so it's thousands of years old. And at the time of writing, it was before the King James version of the Bible was printed, and drawing on many different sources which were fairly similar to what was used for the King James Bible. The Sidneys got there first, wrote their Psalms. They weren't published for a while, they were in private circulation, so they were given out as manuscripts to friends and so forth. But pretty interesting on various accounts on different things like having a woman writer and the time of their writing. So I'm dipping and diving, reading my way through. Here, my little bookmark I've been using is quite fun. Again, it's a kind of history piece. It's called The Blogger, and it's from Joanna Robson and her book, The 18th Century Work in London. Blogger. Anyway, let's go back to the 1500s, a little bit further back. So it's Psalm 33. I'll read it through, and then there's one little verse that just got my attention. Psalm 33. Exultate justi. I tend to put a little line underneath, which is summarising the first line of the poem. Rejoice in God, O ye that righteous be, for cheerful thankfulness. It is a comely part in them whose heart doth cherish rightfulness. O praise with harp the Lord, O nigh accord, viols with singing voice. Let 10-stringed instrument, O nigh be bent to witness you rejoice. And you, sing a new song, to him most strong, sing loud and merrily, because that word of his most righteous is, and his deeds faithful be. He righteousness approves, and judgment loves. God's goodness fills all lands. His word made heavenly coast, and all that host by breath of his mouth stands. The waters of the seas in heaps he lays, and depths in treasure his. Let all the earth fear God, and who abroad of world a dweller is. For he spake not more soon than it was done. He bade, and it did stand. He doth his counsel break, and maketh weak the might of people's hand. But ever, ever shall his counsels all throughout all ages last. The thinkings of that mind no end shall find, when times shall be past. That realm indeed hath bliss, whose God he is, who him for their Lord take, even people that, even those, whom this Lord chose his heritage to make. The Lord looks from the sky, full well his eye beholds our mortal race. Even where he dwelleth, he throughout doth see, who dwell in dusty place. Since he their hearts doth frame, he knows the same, their works he understands. Hosts do the king not save, nor strong men have their help from mighty hands. Of quick strength is a horse, and yet his force is but a succour vain. Who trusts him sooner shall catch harmful fall than true deliverance gain. But lo, Jehovah's sight on them doth light, who him do truly fear, and them who do the scope of all their hope upon his mercy bear. His sight is them to save, even from the grave, and keep from famine's pain. Then on that Lord most kind, fix we our mind, whose shield shall us maintain. Our hearts sure shall enjoy in him much joy, who hope on his name just. O let thy mercy great on us be set, we have no plea but trust. Well, the language isn't too hard to understand, even though it's so long ago, hopefully for you. It's contemporary to Shakespeare, so it's similar. Also, because it's from the Bible, it's kind of text or poem you may have heard in various forms, and it's easy to look it up in any Bible you can find, and start look up Psalm 33, you'll get the idea of what they're talking about. So I hope you enjoyed that really old poem. I want to draw your attention to something. First of all, the ingenuity of the rhyming, and you can see at the very start the fact that there are line end rhymings throughout. Rejoice in God, O ye, rhymes with be in the next line. Then we have a new rhyme, thankfulness. Then we have a third rhyme, part, heart. And then finally, rightfulness in the last line goes back to rhyming with the thankfulness. So there's a lot of rhymes to be found and juggled, and it's metrical, so the beat is to be quite regular as well. So regular that in fact it could be set to music, and it's really quite a beautifully set piece of work. Every word in the right place at the right beat, and that's makes part of what makes it rather astonishing as a whole achievement, because there are 150 psalms and they are done throughout. And also, this particular psalm was written by Sidney himself, Sir Philip Sidney, before his death, and then his sister carried on and came back and edited his earlier one, so she's possibly had some input into this. But she continued what he began, which was to have every psalm poem in a slightly different layout and the way that it rhymed, and it's a different form of poetry for 150 poems. That's really rather clever. I think there's a couple that might have been repeated, but it's overwhelmingly a tour de force for lyrical verse in England at the time, and showing it to us so many years later. Now, I have to say that when I was reading it this morning, there was a little bit that I thought was just absolutely astonishing. So I'll read that again to you. It's from line 37 of the poetry. But ever shall his counsels all throughout all ages last. The thinkings of that mind no end shall find, when times shall be past. And it's the scope of that verse I think is actually utterly astounding. It's thinking about the mind of God. The thinkings of that mind no end shall find, when times shall be past. And the scope of that, the whole breadth of time, is utterly astonishing. And that's the thing about the metaphysical poets writing at that time. They tended to go for big themes, they weren't scared of them, and they wrote about major concerns of then and also of now. So I hope you enjoyed this poem today, and it's bye from me for now. Cheerio.